Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I've spelled it out here. Here, I'll discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Nine of Wands, and it's here because it corresponds in astrology with the second 10 days, or the second decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and wands in tarot are fire element symbolism as well. Fire element symbolism is about that drive, that spark, that determination, that gets you up and actively moving toward a goal. Okay, it's about those things that we want to achieve and sort of the way we feel about them as we go there, and also the joy of having achieved them, sort of the pride we take in where we've been and what we've done. Okay, so we come to the Nine of Wands, and we see a person who, you know, if you think about wands as sort of markers of achievement, sort of trophies, then we see a person who has already accomplished much. And actually, you know, it's 2 through 10, so we're pretty near the end of this cycle. But we've come this far, and this person looks like they have a bandage on their head. Their sleeves are rolled up. They're looking maybe a little tired, maybe a little defensive. They're looking back toward the past. They're thinking about how much they've gotten done so far, but they also realize that there's a little bit more to go. We're not quite to the end of this cycle yet. We're not quite done making the achievements that we have to make yet. Okay, so there's a resilience to this, right? There's a point at which you might say, I have done enough and I feel very tired and I'm just going to stop. I'm going to take a break, right? Or I can give this up and move on. But we know that we're going to, we know what completion looks like to us, and this doesn't look like completion to us, and so we're going to make that last push. Okay, we're going to make that final energetic, give it our final little bit of energetic gusto so that we can get through. Okay, so we've battled for what we know is right, and we're going to complete it the way we know it's right to do it, and we're just going to push a little bit farther and get there. So we got the Strength card today. I love this card. So this card always makes me think of that song by Johnny Cash called The Beast in Me, and it really, to me, refers to how we come to have a sort of quiet strength about ourselves, a quiet peace about ourselves, when we realize that we can sort of tame our impulsive urges through kindness and acceptance, through love and gentleness. By being gentle with ourselves, we sort of tame the beast within. Whatever that beast looks like for you, everybody's got a little bit of a rascal living on the inside. And this is not, this is not like a shadow. This is just, a part of us that is, perhaps it is impetuous or impatient. Perhaps it is angry. Lions are the symbol for Leo, and that's a fire sign. So I'm thinking about sort of the fiery characteristics that we have that will make themselves shown at moments when we're very uncomfortable, when we feel at a disadvantage, when we feel either sort of weak or defensive. And they're some of the least flattering kind of behaviors that we can have. And furthermore, what's more important is that they're rarely very productive behaviors, right? You have to be able to save that that anger, that inner lion, that that impatient, sort of restless and willful part of ourselves. We have to be able to save that for moments when it is really necessary, and not be bringing it out all the time. And we find over time that one way to actually tame that wild beast within, it's not about pushing it down, it's not about resisting it, pretending it doesn't exist, not feeding it, that kind of thing. It's really more about being loving and gentle with ourselves. And when we're loving and gentle with ourselves, we're loving and gentle with the parts of ourselves that might be, have less flattering behaviors, right? So that, having felt understood on that level, then we don't feel like we have to act up in that way. So, and there is strength in that, in sort of taming your own beast within. Then when you are encountering another person, whether you're encountering them or sort of their beastly behavior as well, and you can take a calmer, more grounded attitude toward being in the presence of that kind of behavior, because you understand that the way to tame that beast is to give it your loving kindness, to give it your understanding. So strength is harder than punishment. I want to say that, it's harder to have strength to be accepting, to be loving, to be understanding of a person's wild impulses than it is just to try to punish them for those wild impulses. And we all struggle, or we know people who struggle with such kinds of wild impulses, with certain kinds of irascibility, sort of selfish behaviors, even angry behaviors or impulsive behaviors that we don't like, and that we find very destructive, and that are probably very counterintuitive in most of the ways that they come out. But what we also find is that when we make of a person who struggles with those impulses an enemy of ourselves, then we only kind of bring it out more, right? The more we expect out of them, the more they show it to us, and that's not good for us, and it's not good for them. So be understanding with yourself and your impatient, irascible qualities, and try to be calm and understanding and loving with your loved ones and their irascible qualities as well. Where do I see this on the page? Well, I do see the sun, is quincunx to the moon right now, which is asking us, and moon is really conjunct to Uranus here. And I'm thinking about the sun because the sun is directly related to Leo, the lion. The sun is in this period of adjustment, right? We have this impulsive and excitable mood that comes around for a portion of the day to day, and in our outer lives, in our outward facing selves, in the person that sort of meets the rest of the world, we have an opportunity to see a change coming up, to feel it, to really notice it, maybe to see or feel that impatience or that irascibility come out in ourselves, and to practice the patience with it. So look for that at some point today. Listen to yourself and pay attention to how those moments are coming out in yourself, and welcome them as opportunities to try something different. Also, the sun here is still trying to Chiron, and Chiron is in Aries and sun is in Sagittarius, all very fiery, and then the sun represents Leo, so it's almost like having a triple trine. Sun trine to Chiron here is talking about sort of letting down our old defenses, especially in a really public way, like in our workplaces and in our social and civic lives, letting down old defenses where we might act up in certain situations just a matter of a good offense being a good defense, right? Or just letting go of our expectations that people are going to behave in ways that we can't respond well to, right? And when we let down those defenses, we have this really sort of blessed opportunity to show ourselves in the world something different than that irascible character that we've been. And then together with the Nine of Wands, the defensiveness comes up here, right? These are two versions of strength, right? This one really, I think is a little bit more about stamina. But, this is like how hard have I been willing to work? How far have I been willing to go? And it's been through this, repeated sense of determination and drive to get where I'm going. And at a certain point, that drive can become defensive. It can become, sort of like, look at all these accomplishments I have. And because we, grow in our pride about what we have achieved so far, in our pride, we become a little bit, again, impatient if people don't show us the proper respect, that kind of thing, or impatient if things don't come out the way we thought they would because we worked so hard to get there and we took so much pride in our work. Why didn't it work out the way I thought that it would, right? And so, again, we get impatient, or we get angry, or we do something selfish in a way that acts out, or we have the impulse to do that. And this is a reminder again, just to try to sit with it and be kind to yourself while you feel that, without necessarily feeling like that's exactly what has to happen. Because honestly, it doesn't feel good to feel that way, and often we don't get the comeuppance we're seeking. And even if we do, it's not what we wanted, right? It doesn't help the feeling of impatience or anger. So what we have to do is just to sit with ourselves and give ourselves a little bit of love and peace and time, okay? So that irascible part of ourselves doesn't have to arise. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you very much for being here. I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.